In this video, I will talk about reading yarn labels. If you find this video helpful, please like and consider subscribing. Yarn labels can tell you a lot about the yarn. Here's a yarn from Knit Picks, and the front of the label tells you not just the name of the yarn, but the weight of the yarn, as well as the colorway, and the yardage, and how much it weighs. Right here we have bulky weight. So right away we know this is a bulky weight yarn. This is the colorway name. This is the yardage in the skein, and then how much the skein of yarn weighs. If we turn to the back, there's even more information. It shows the recommended needle size and the typical gauge with those needles. Now keep in mind, your gauge may be different. So this is just a suggestion. It also tells you the recommended crochet hook size and the gauge in crochet. Again, your gauge may be different. Therefore, this is just a suggestion. It has the Craft Yarn Council yarn standard symbol, and this is the symbol for bulky weight yarn. It has the fiber content and care directions: hand wash, dry flat. And then there's the contact information for the yarn manufacturer. Looking at another brand of yarn, again, there's the name of the yarn, the company, and right on the front, it says the weight. This section has the fiber content, the weight of the skein, and how many yards approximately. It also lists the recommended knitting needle size and the typical gauge with those needle sizes. Again, this is a starting point, and you may need to change needle sizes. There's also a section with the color numbers. So these yarns don't have color names, they have color numbers. And the dye lot. So this manufacturer has dye lots. When you purchase yarn for a project, try to get all the same dye lot. And then this section has care directions with the accompanying symbols, and the yarn manufacturer contact information. Those were two larger manufacturers. Now let's look at a couple of yarns from some hand dyers. Here's some yarn from Greenwood Fiberworks. There's no information about the yarn on the front of the label, but right on the front we know who makes it. On the back, we have everything we need to know. There's the name of the yarn, the weight of the yarn, the fiber content, the yardage and the weight of the skein, and the colorway number. This dyer also provides a lot number. And down at the bottom is a note that the care instructions are inside the label. This is a skein of yarn from Space Cadet. Again, the front of the label doesn't tell us anything about the yarn itself. It does let us know who dyed the yarn. Here on the back is everything we need to know. The name of the yarn, the weight of the yarn, including a little note about the inspiration for the name of the yarn, the fiber content, how much the skein weighs, and its approximate yardage. Also the Craft Yarn Council yarn standards symbol. The colorway is written here, and the care instructions are also included. There's a note from the hand dyer here reminding you to buy enough yardage for your project because of the nature of hand-dyed yarns. Also a note to alternate your skeins every few rows to minimize any irregularities in the color. If you're unsure what the weight of yarn is that you're working with, one method to narrow things down is to look at the yardage and the skein weight. Typically, if a skein weighs 100 grams, and you have, for example here, 137 yards, that is going to be about a bulky weight yarn. But this skein is also 100 grams, and there are 435 yards present, making it a sock weight or fingering weight yarn. There will be differences in how much a skein weighs based on the fiber content and the spinning method. But usually if you have a 100-gram skein that has about 100 yards, give or take, that will be bulky. And if you have a 100-gram skein that has 400 or slightly more than 400 yards, that is going to be about a fingering weight yarn. So that was reading a yarn label. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.